the same question, what do you eat? Well, you know some of my dirty secrets because you saw the Letterman clip. I always carry a cell phone and a credit card with me when I go on these long runs. And if I find myself in an area where there's no access to food, pizza, right? I mean, it's logical. I order pizza. But I've learned some valuable life lessons over the years, and I'll share those with you. Hawaiian style. Pepperoni is too spicy. Don't order the pepperoni. Get the Hawaiian style pizza, and here's what you do. You ask them not to slice it, and you get the thin crust on the pizza. And then when they deliver it to you, you know what you do? You roll it into this big burrito, this big Italian burrito, and you mow as you run. Oh, and it's just so sloppy. It gets all over you. But it's so good. It's so good. And being the liberal West Coast guy that I am, I've expanded my roadside palate, and I've recently done Chinese takeout on the run. I got the Kung Pao tofu, and I just drank it out of the box as I ran. And that was excellent as well. You know, there's a lot of sodium in Chinese food, so the salt, you know, it's good electrolyte replacement. The only downside is I was hungry an hour later. So some things never change when you're running. You know, one time I did a 200-mile run, and I asked my crew, I said, keep a track of everything I put in my mouth over the course of this 200-mile run. I want you to record it all so we can look at how much I ate. Well, in the course of running 200 miles, it was a 46-hour, 17-minute run, I consumed 28,000 calories. Yeah, you thought the pasta feed was filling, right? That's 2 weeks worth of food in just under 2 days of nonstop running. But I think the most interesting side note is in that same period, I burned 34,000 calories. So even though I ate all that food, I lost 4 pounds at the end of this 200-mile run. And my next book's a diet book. You know, the ultramarathon diet. You just eat whatever you want. Just start running. Oprah's going to love it, right? She's going to go. You know, and I think I'll conclude with sharing some stories from an event I did one time, which was running 50 marathons in all of the 50 U.S. states in 50 straight days. So that's all the time I get off work, and I wanted to run a marathon every state, right? I was doing 50 straight days. But I think, you know, a couple things. The most telling marathon of all had to have been the 50th marathon. And the reason so is that marathon actually was my strongest marathon of all 50. The final marathon was the New York City Marathon, and I ran it in 3 hours and 30 seconds, which is, you know, that's a respectable marathon time, especially for New York, even on fresh legs. And, you know, to do that after 49 marathons, I think is a testament to how resilient the human body is. You know, after the course of 49 marathons, my body didn't break down. It responded to the load and actually got stronger over the course of 50 marathons. I'll never forget, when I got to the finish line, a race official comes running over to me. He says, my gosh, I can't believe you are here so fast. I can't believe you ran this 50th marathon in 3 hours flat. That's just remarkable. Were you trying to beat Lance? It was the first year that Lance Armstrong had done the marathon. He looked horrible, by the way. I'm a big Lance fan, but I mean, he was destroyed, let me tell you, in this marathon. But I said to this race official, I said, no, I wasn't trying to beat Lance. I mean, that was the last thing on my mind, is trying to beat Lance. I didn't think I'd be anywhere close to Lance, and beating him meant nothing to me. The only person I wanted to beat was P. Diddy. That dude did it this year as well. I saw him at the start. He's surrounded by this posse of guys. He's got these gold chains all around his neck, and I'm thinking, if that joker beats me, even after 49 marathons, I'm going to be so humiliated. So I slipped in, I had a P. Diddy, and all was good. But I think, you know, that I'll conclude my talk with a story of one of the marathons that actually went around the track of a field. It was at a college, and the course of the marathon actually goes around the infield of a track. And I had invited kids, young kids, to come out and run with me during the course of the marathon. Not the entire marathon, but some portion thereof. And when I got to this track, there was about 200 kids waiting there to run around the track with me. And we start running around the track, and one of the teachers explains that this little guy running next to me had been training like crazy for about 10 weeks to run around the track with me. And this little guy, he could have been more than 5 or 6 years old, but he was just running like a madman. He was pouring his heart and his soul into it, running with so much passion. And I just had a comment on his incredible pace. And he looks up at me and says, "Mr. Karnazes, I run like I mean it." So all you runners out there tomorrow, get out there and run like you mean it. Have a great race, and thanks for coming.